This One Up podcast is brought to you by Games for Windows. Welcome to Better PC Gaming. Created with the idea that gaming should deliver more. Games for Windows branded titles bring you all the fun of gaming without all the work. And with the hottest titles around and Windows Vista compatibility, Games for Windows promises to deliver great new gaming experiences every time you play.
Hello and welcome, I guess, to the especially hate-filled, grumpy edition of GFW Radio. This is your unwilling host, Jeff Green, GFW Magazine, not wanting to podcast today, but doing it anyway, goddammit, because Ziff Davis says I have to. Fuck them.
Who's the man?
It's in the contract. Great.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. You're everyone, I guess.
Supposed to introduce ourselves. Just FYI for the listeners, our headsets are turned off today. We're having some technical difficulties, so we can't. Normally, we can hear ourselves and kind of gauge if we're being loud enough or too loud. Like right now, if I'm screaming in your ear, fuck you, I just told you why. So just that's something you're going to have to deal with, and we're dealing with.
On top of everything else, on top of us, none of us, being in a good mood anyway. We can't even.
We're shipping an issue.
We're shipping an issue. Right. We should say that.
I'm in a good mood.
So
you're in a good.
You know what?
Great for
I'm
you.
all right.
Let's just get right into the hate with Heroes of the Web.
Okay, let's start with Heroes of the Web.
Like a
Get the
fine
introductions out of the way without actually introducing ourselves.
Okay.
So today's comes from Ain't It Cool News. This post
Ryan's favorite.
was titled, it was like a news item or something, I don't know. This was my first time on that site, believe it or not, and a listener pointed me to it. And this story was called Father Geek Tells of the Harry and Patricia Wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes a little something like, after gathering inside for an hour of cool drinks, a mountain of fresh fruits, smoked cheese, pate, and stimulating conversation, the vows were taken at sunset, under the moss-draped centuries-old live oak trees, on the natural lush green carpet of thick grass that covered the several-acre grounds of the stone-walled compound. Behind the wedding party, hundreds of Texas lightning bugs flashed their approval right on cue as darkness fell and the western clouds turned a deep, hot pink. The wedding party and guests were retired to the elegant decor of the mansion's spacious interior. Once inside, guests, with the aid of the entryway seating chart, found their tables and chairs and began devouring the wine, the crab cakes, the prime rib, the saffron rice, artichoke hearts, and a dozen other treats offered by Green Pasture's excellent chefs. On the aged brick patios, porches, and wide walkways, Tim and Carrie, League of the Alamo Draft House, had arranged for one of their huge outdoor screens to be set up with thunderous subwoofers and a live video DJ to mix a rock, hip-hop, punk, music extravaganza to what was accompanying by mostly exploitation, grindhouse-esque film clips with were digitally edited and mixed live to the music. And then one of the comments, none of the comments were charitable, but one comment was, when you received her, were there holes in the crate? Okay, so that's about all there is with that. And since today we really, as always, we came down here with no plan of things to discuss. Although we have now playing and the usual things that we can talk about. But there's something I wanted to throw out there just for the hell of it.
Please do.
When was the last time any of you have had to deal with like one of your parents' computers, assuming they have a computer?
Oh, God.
I do that all the time.
Every time I go home.
I was just thinking of like the last time I did this with my girlfriend's dad's computer. You go to use it, and in the startup programs bar, there's like 600 programs. Yep. And then you go, like, you get through that, and the thing is running like
fucking reading I just did. And then after you get it working and you turn on like Internet Explorer, there's like 60 different search windows. There's like an individual search engine for like Viagra. There's an individual one for home loans. There's like one for everything there is. But then, so I offered, I was like,
She's got going.
hey man, this is pretty bad. You want me to like do a little work so that when you turn your computer on, you're not like basically trying to run a simulation of I don't know, whatever, World War III or something.
He's got a Whopper.
So he's like, okay, sure. So I did it, and I just stripped it down, to the basic, the MS config to the basic things. And then as soon as I turned it on, he was so horrified, started screaming and freaking out, like, oh my God, what did you do? Because he couldn't figure out that there were like one of the billion colorful like icons all over the desktop is yet another way to get those programs running that are trying to start when you start a computer. So he made me turn it back. But I don't know. I thought of that, and I was wondering if you guys had some, because and some other, just in general too, like parents, when you're that age, your dad doesn't want you playing video games on the TV. You're going to break my TV.
Yeah.
Or, I remember when I was like 20-something, my dad, they had this piece of shit computer, and I went to print something out on it, and he was stressing and sweating it like I was going to break it by printing a document on the computer.
Yeah, I get that shit every time I go home to either my mom or my dad's. It's like me being there is like they've saved up stuff. Could you look at my computer? Because there's a few things wrong on it. I don't know what's going on at all. And it's always just like the most normal, it's usually like Windows Update. It wants to put these things on my computer. I don't know what it is. And I heard on the radio that I shouldn't put anything on there. They said on a talk show that there's viruses. Like, yeah, these are like updates that Windows has put out, so you won't get any.
Vista makes it like 10 times worse because it now asks you for permission to do anything.
So now you get all super paranoid, I bet, right?
Well, like I don't, but I'm sure.
Well, I mean,
but
like
then
they
it's
do.
just that instead of a Windows update doing it to them on a biannual basis, now every time they try to like do anything. Are you sure you want to open this program?
No, I'm not. I don't know. I'm scared.
And it asks for this requires administrator's privilege. And they're like, administrator?
Who's the administrator?
That's you.
Is that who bought the computer? The best call I got from my dad was he left a message on my voicemail. It was like, Jeffrey, I need you to call me back right away. It's really urgent. There's just something. I really need your help with my computer. So I call him up, and he tells me that he had. I guess one afternoon he had gone to an adult website.
Oh shit!
Which actually made me proud of my 75-year-old.
You might
dad.
preempt
like,
my next story.
Dad's still interested. Did I tell the story already?
No, I was just about to say something similar, but
okay. But he, but the problem was he went to the site, and it was one of those sites where like you go there, and if you click whatever, it resets your homepage.
Yeah,
to
homepage
that site.
hijacker. Here we go.
And not only that, but so and then when you load Internet Explorer, not only does that site come up, but pop-ups come up all over the screen.
Yeah.
And so my stepmom, he needed to get this fixed before my stepmom was going to come home and use the computer because they share it. He was like, I can't. Every time I load Internet Explorer, there's porn all over my window. What do I do? Maybe I'll help you, Dad. I don't know. This is kind of a funny predicament.
So
Maybe I won't help you.
Did you let him? You leave him twisting in the wind?
Yeah. So no, I told him how to change your homepage, but it was amazing. That to me, that's like everybody knows how to do that, but guess not.
True.
Then I told him all about Clear History, which made him really happy. Oh, this is amazing. I'll never know.
What else could I clear?
That's what it's there for, Dad.
You want to do the cache?
Until your stepmom started looking to see if the history had been cleared.
Yeah.
You mean to say you looked at Target.com all day today? I know you had the day off.
I've got a good. If we're just going to tell embarrassing internet stories. When I was home with my mom for Christmas, I think she wanted to show me my cousin's, like, literally it was a pony webpage. She's like, oh, your 12-year-old cousin has a really good pony webpage. Let's look at the pony webpage. So we go to the computer.
She was seriously wanting to show, like...
I was just like...
How old is this person?
What's that?
How old is the person with the pony webpage?
Like 12 or something.
Okay.
Just, we were just chatting about things, family members that I haven't seen in 9 years are doing. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll look at the pony webpage. We go there. She's like, I was there yesterday. Opens up the history bar. It's most of my brother's computer. Long list of porn websites comes up, and we just kind of both just ignore it and move on with our lives. We're just like, all right, let's just scroll past that one. Where's the ponies? Find the ponies.
Were they all like kind of nasty names? Like,
oh yeah, they were totally nasty.
Yeah.
It was funny though.
Sick.
Dangerous stuff.
Looking at a
Then I
computer
told my
with a
brother-
bunch of people is like a shitty experience in general. It's one I find myself in though. It's like, friends come over and you're hanging out and you're like flipping through TV and you're like, and you realize there's nothing on, nothing to even make fun of. But then you're like, shit, dude, there's probably a billion things online that we could do. And then it's like, we all just going to huddle around like it's the fucking, what is it? The monolith in 2001.
Yeah. Get a couple bones and shake them in front
Swing
of
some bones at it, and laugh at the quarter-inch size thumbnail YouTube screen.
there really is
Although it
something
is
about
funnier.
computers that do not want to enable even two people sitting by them. I don't know what it is.
Right.
Somebody at another gaming publication was hitting me up because they were working on a story on upcoming multiplayer games, upcoming PC multiplayer games that you would play with somebody, but like at the computer, like hot seated or not.
Yeah.
And I couldn't think of one.
Peggle, I
Peggle
play
you can
that
do
way.
that.
Well, that's
so
like
many
the only
times.
thing, right?
It's
Yeah,
so
like a
awkward.
casual game.
But it's like, yeah, like
because you're sharing the keyboard.
it's me and my girlfriend, so we just throw our legs over each other, But it's like you're sharing the keyboard, and you're still kind of like, dude, the monitor's turned more to you. No, it's turned more to you.
Yeah.
I can't line up my shot. Turn the fucking monitor.
Right.
PC is a personal experience.
It really is.
Someone's always trying to.
So it's not going to work for
Trying
a
to
PC
find a
unless you get like
solution.
one of these like ridiculous size, like 30-inch monitors or something.
It's
Yeah.
weird too, because when it's like when I have friends come from out of town, and not so much anymore, but like just like sleepovers, come over, have some beers, and play some games at night. But then it's like if friends come from out of town now, it's like all the good games we'd be playing multiplayer online. It'd be more fun if we had our own screen and our own thing anyway, So with the exception of play Soul Calibur and Bomberman and stuff like that, all the people out there, they're like, that's why split screen can never die.
You need
But it's like I'd rather just
what the Wii for
I'd rather
these
just
days.
not do the split
That's
screen.
what the Wii's for. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that iToy. You show that kind of shit to strangers in the same way as the feeling you had when you saw the pony page.
I was at a wedding yesterday with a bunch of non-gaming people, and some woman came up and asked me about what I thought about the Y. And it took me like 3 times. I was like, "You mean the Wii?" And that's what the thing where you
Then
wave
how
the
did you
thing
feel
around.
when you realized you were correcting
It's like,
someone on the
what?
pronunciation of the Wii?
I felt like, how do you even know what it is if you don't know it's even called the Wii?
Just been
How do
reading
you-
it.
I
Just
guess
been seeing it in text.
the Y.
Read about in the tech page of the paper.
Like if you're calling it the Y, this is not something you need in your life.
She reads the paper but doesn't watch the news. Yeah, well.
Jeff, that's shameful, man.
What? Did I making fun of her for?
Well, you're mad at someone because they mispronounced the fucking Wii.
I'm just
Like,
saying,
good for
if you're
her.
that far
How dare you
removed
not
from
know
the
what the
gaming
Wii
world
is?
that you don't even know how to pronounce a 3-letter word.
It's Ninja Gaiden, not Ninja Gaiden. Totally that.
Isn't it obvious?
Or no, it's
You're just trying to make
Naruto, not
conversation.
Naruto.
She was trying to make
Naruto?
conversation.
Leave it,
You're
bitch.
right. She was trying to make conversation, and I was just being a pissy little elitist bitch.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's we.
So your bad
Doi.
mood is stretching back from beyond this morning then. It goes
You're right.
has far-reaching.
I just, I don't like it when. I mean, I know people are like trying to make up, but when you don't you get annoyed when people hear you're related to the gaming industry, and then they ask you whatever random question that has nothing to do with that? Just
Because it was in the news.
I know
or
they're trying to
something.
make conversation, whatever.
Yeah.
But oh, I played Myst.
But you've done
That's
it.
great.
To it.
Okay, well that was 13 years ago. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Do you know any good
I'm just
solitaire
crazy.
games?
Well, now that we're
I played Minesweeper. Can you tell me how to beat this level?
random rants, and we might not even get to PC gaming stuff. We're at least talking tangentially about computers and games, so put them together and we're
Yeah,
And you
You're
have
getting it up.
computer gaming.
But
This is more than
which is
the
what
sum of
we're all
the
about.
whole casual thing is going nowhere. And today, someone posted, reviews for the PS3 game Lair started going up, and I know EGMs were less favorable than any developer would like, at least. And one of the studio heads posted a response on their forum, and it was really interesting because it was basically the Wii defense. It was like the Wii alibi. It was like, well, you just don't get it. This is a game for everyone. It's supposed to be accessible to everyone. And he goes, let me tell you a story.
Oh.
And then maybe he was being nice. So let me not throw an asshole, it's super hyper defensive tone on it. But he told a story. He said, hey, my grandfather or step grandfather,
83-year-old grandfather. That was what it was. Yeah.
played this game. I was watching him play the first level, and he was loving it. Grandpa was loving this shit. And what do you got to say about that? Make a game for everyone. So, but I was just laughing because, for one, when you make a game designed from the get-go and it really is for everyone, like Wii Sports, that's a whole nother story than, well, you've got a game where Grandpa can, wave his arm, flail his arms around, and he sees there's some loose correlation with what's happening on screen and kind of laugh for the first level of things. I mean, did Grandpa beat the fucking game?
Dude, Nigerians love that shit.
He might have died from waving his arm around by
Did
the
Grandpa
end.
beat that game?
Somebody
I think Grandpa did beat that game.
Crookie, my heart.
And also, it's like the difference between, I said this in a post, between Toy Story and like Reign of Fire or something. There are some things that are clearly from the beginning. You're like, okay, this is going to be something that people of all ages will be seeing. Whereas when you make Reign of Fire and you start from the very, concept drafting phase, you say, oh, we've immediately wrote many people off of our, to check this out list.
I can't believe he was trying to say that Lair is supposed to be this, Grandpa game.
And the funniest thing was, the stupidest thing is that if you're going to argue that this whole game is about accessibility to everyone, well, then why not put access for the people who want to play with an analog stick and buttons in it when you've got a system that's got a controller that's got analog stick and buttons? Give us the choice. I mean, that alone just kills the whole thing. Maybe he would have a case if someone was bitching about, and they had the option and they didn't like the six, because this is all coming from problems with the 6-axis control for it. And it's like, well, what are you going to say? I mean, you took away a choice from us, and you're trying to use accessibility as an alibi. It just doesn't work. Anyway, I thought that was funny, and I'm curious to see if we see more and more of this in the future where, you just don't get it because it's for everyone. It's not for you. Like hell, Lair is for
I'm
me.
part of everyone.
That shit was made for me from the minute it fucking left the design document. Shit's not for my great grandpa. He wouldn't even touch that shit.
It's for your dog.
Yeah.
So, has anyone been playing any PC games?
We have.
Yeah.
Technically, I don't know what we can talk about, but one thing actually before we leave the console thing, one quick thing I wanted to throw out there that if you check out this last weekend's weekly free play, they did something pretty cool, which actually I tried this weekend. Was if you have a Wii and you do the Wii browser, there's a bunch of Flash games you can play that if you Flash games that just require mouse control, so you could use the Wii remote to play them. So there's this one, actually, I forwarded you the link earlier, Jeff. I don't know if you checked it out, but the Rose versus Camilla. It's actually basically, it's the weirdest thing. It's like an anime slap fight.
Anime slap fight?
It sounds stupid, and it kind of is.
Jeff loves the anime slap fight.
It's a dopey little time waster, but if you check out last week's weekly free play...
Jeff hears anime and slapping.
He's like, yeah,
I'm excited.
That's
rip Jeff's headphones off.
The dust cloud kicks up and he races back to his desk.
Still on your dad's homepage.
Out, bitches.
What's your favorite Japanimation?
But that was just one of the games I was checking out. But seriously, check out last week's free play.
My
Where can they get that?
At oneup.com?
Yeah, thank you.
very nice. Wow, we're well trained here.
Yeah.
Here's a fish.
Oneup.com.
GFW Radio.
Yeah.
So, what you playing?
Is anyone playing PC games?
Yeah,
How about you fellows playing the Tabula Rasa beta?
Tabula Rasa, big time.
Oh, man, that was a lot of fun.
And we can talk about it now. There was some NDA lifting email that went out right before we showed up here.
So, you want to kick this off? Because you played more of it than I did this weekend. But
Yeah, I've been playing for like a week now, and I got to level 10 and decided that I didn't want to play anymore because I like it enough to be convinced I'm going to buy it and play the retail game when it comes out.
So this is interesting, Sean Elliott, because you are a noted MMO cynic.
Yeah, and part of the whole thing is, as promised, there's an action element to it, so that the combat and the way that the flow of the game works, it's more engaging to me than, standing next to someone. I mean, and I'm describing a tank character. I know you don't stand next to someone and press 1 through 10 on your number key and win. But for me, to be really reductive, that's how I feel.
Right.
I mean, that's what I feel I'm doing. I just need more than that. And then even if, I'm support classes and stuff. And I played Guild Wars and liked it a lot, and mainly because of the group dynamic, but I was also an elementalist in there. But just because, when you get in this game, you have access to, to guns and skill sets and all these things like that, but you have a crosshair So that's immediately appealing to me because I'm used to playing games with crosshairs and whatnot. And it's like an interesting combination between if you want everything to lock on, if you want to just immediately auto-lock a target, cycle through lockable targets, you can. So if you're completely averse to playing in the way you would a shooter or an action game, less like a shooter, like a Half-Life than like a Stranglehold or something, a Max Payne. But if you want, you can. Your crosshair is still bigger, depending on the weapon. If you got a shotgun, it's basically the size of like a deluxe pizza pasted over your monitor. And so, but just, I find that alone is fun. The fact that, you can crouch, like, so say, let me give you, I think the best way to do this was to give you an example of like some of the combat in the game. And combat's usually what bores me in MMOs. And basically that's 90% of any MMO.
Because cover actually matters, right?
Kill until you can get enough whatever object it is that you need to satisfy your mission. So here, you can see enemies from a great distance away, and if you have a sniper rifle, you crouch down and you improve your accuracy. You get the first shot off that way. Then they might see it. You can continue to shoot them, and if they're a berserker type creature, they're going to try to rush and close the gap. And then as soon as they do, you might want to switch over to a shotgun. But then in the RPG manner, they might be a group of mixed units. So some of them might be mechanical. You might want to have to hit them with electromagnetic pulse weapons so that you strip their shields and then you can do damage to them with ballistics. Could be another creature that's entirely immune to the EMP, and for those, you're going to want to have someone hitting it with a chain gun with some other type of ammo, using a certain skill set on it, electricity, if, usual RPG stuff, one creature's weak to this element. Instead, it will just be this kind of power. But anyway, I find that that's just fun. Like the combination of that part of RPGs, which I always liked, even in Final Fantasy, the tricks of like, hitting undead with healing items and stuff like that. But in a real-time and fast action game where...
It definitely feels more like an action game for sure.
But how about like the questing stuff? And is that in the beta yet? That
Well, the simple quests are. I mean,
all the quests and instances are in the beta. Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of things that Richard Garriott or General British has been saying is in previous demos and stuff. He talked a lot about how the questing in Tabula Rasa was going to have some moral choices and emotional resonance to it. Have you experienced any of that kind of stuff yet? Or
I haven't got a lick of that yet, but again, I quit playing when I got to level 10.
Okay.
What it does have that's cool is the instance sections are much... Well, compared to the stuff where you're running around doing missions in the MMO that everyone is thrown into on your server, on your planet at the same time, where missions are almost always... collect 10 of these or kill 5 of these and stuff. As soon as you get into an instance, it's cool. The graphics become like massively, massively sharper and better, and assets look a lot better. And it looks like if someone was just walking by, they would think, oh, this is just like a dedicated action game where they were able to invest all this work into the appearance of things and stuff. The missions are more inspired. They're cleverly designed. They're more fun to do. And that was where I really started liking it. At first, I was super skeptical when I turned it on because the introduction is just... it's like I had a friend that was playing, and I wanted to just jump into the world and just get messing around, but you had to do the solo stuff to get used to it.
Yeah, right.
And it was like, And it totally reminded... It does remind me of Auto Assault in a lot of ways. I mean, even to the point where it's just the design of things and, in the cities, the town, the buildings for, the armories and the medic shops and stuff like that.
The necessary evils of any, like, RPG, any MMO at this point, basically.
But just all in all, that's, I think it's exciting because I know that, like, I'll get a group of people together and I'll actually want to play it.
But as a shooter fan, like, why would this interest you more than, say... Battlefield 2 or Quake Wars, or
because it's different. Because, like, say for example, if I don't want to get into Quake Wars, and if maybe I only have a few friends online, and then we're put on a team that sucks ass, and the other team is wiping us out over and over again, or I just keep getting frustrated because things aren't going my way, and then just the high stakes of people come in and they know who I am, and I want to be playing my best because I got a reputation to uphold, and all the stress of that. When I just want to get into like a server and just talk shit with friends and still play, find some cool stuff for all the reasons that people do play MMOs, But for me, for whatever reason, the MMO that's been able to do that and keep me playing has been few and far between. And I think this has the potential, at least, to keep me around for longer than a month.
How many people can go into an instance for like the dungeon?
I haven't got the count on that because I was basically doing them with a few people.
Yeah, I actually have an email into them, and I haven't heard back on that yet.
About how many?
So it's
About how you
variable?
can get in, but
Yeah.
How much of it is instanced?
I don't know because I've only played to level 10.
Right.
Yeah,
So any statement I make is from experience and knowledge within that set bit of gameplay. So it's like I really have no idea. I know there are other planets that you go to.
Well, I mean, a
and
lot of the
because-
quests that you've done, or have you done a lot of the instant stuff?
Even on the place where I'm at, I can see
Are you still
like
in the wilderness?
quite a few instances.
are you still in that first wilderness area, or
Well, I've covered the entire map on that planet.
okay?
Yeah. So, but there are a lot of instances all over it. I mean,
It's pretty cool. I mean, the buzz seems pretty cool on this so far. That's a good thing because it seemed for a while like it could go either way, and I guess it still can go either way. We don't
Right.
really know, but
Well, I had kind of pegged this in my head as like the thing that might distract me from WoW. Like of all the games I've
Really?
been seeing, yeah.
you thought this before.
I think
this is good news to me.
Yeah, it might not be your favorite one ever, but
Right.
you'll be like, yeah, this is
It'll be
different. This is
something to try for a while.
Yeah, it's not just like a different version of WoW, which is like what a lot of people complain Lord of the Rings Online is.
Sure, and it is. That is what Lord of the Rings.
So this is
Online
totally different.
Well,
It's good to hear
Darius
about
has
you.
made a lot of noise about this being like. I don't think he's actually come out and said this is the next generation of MMOs, but he's all but implied it if he hasn't said it. And so, I guess we'll just have to see how much of a game changer this is or not.
There's a few other things to know.
Okay. Oh.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say I was kind of waiting. There's one point that it may be kind of minor, but to me this actually stopped me from playing some MMOs. It's like there's that moment in any MMO where some guy's shooting an arrow or some kind of melee missile or whatever, and like it has this heat-seeking ability. It just can follow me around buildings or whatever. And like even though I'm well out of shot range because he got it off before the timer changed, I can still get hit by him. In this game, it actually pays more attention to that action aspect. So like.
You mean like to environment?
To a more environmental acknowledgement of what's going on.
Well,
So,
if you're getting behind a pillar or crouching or something, aren't you like less vulnerable to
Well,
fire?
it's-
I don't know if we play in the same game.
well,
dude.
the times I've been playing it, like if I try attacking somebody and I'm dodging a shot, like the shot doesn't like warp around something and hit me.
They'll just go right through the object in this game.
No, actually,
The developers have been claiming that it would do what Darren is saying.
because
Really?
Well, when they
Well,
demoed
maybe
it at
hopefully it's a
E3,
beta thing, but 100% of the time, because we
Really?
spent a good deal of the time laughing at this, is that if an enemy fires the shot and they had you in their line of sight, even if you move beyond their line of sight or have cover in between you and the shot,
Wow,
it will go right through.
Yeah, that's
It will
not-
go right
wow,
through.
we were playing two
Yeah,
different
that's
games.
not
'cause
is what's supposed to happen here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
well, but the demo I
And
saw
they'll
at
curve
E3
too.
was
They'll
like
banana curve.
I
they'll
didn't
do
see any
anything.
banana curves or nothing. Actually,
was the cover would essentially alter the die roll involved.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how it looked to me when they were demoing at E3.
Yeah,
It was
it's
like
supposed
if you get
to-
behind cover, you'll still be hit, but like your chance of being hit is low, and
Is
the bullet will
lower.
still fly to you.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's a
I don't know,
couple
maybe
times I
that's
saw
what's going on.
both.
Right,
Fly
the
didn't
environment.
hit.
You're right that he had said that the
Yeah,
environment
play
was
more
like die
tonight,
roll
Darren.
modified.
Okay.
You'll see it a lot, dude.
It's more of a cover. It's
go
more of
get
a
a whole
cover
bunch of
modifier
files.
like
Wow,
D&D
I must
than
have,
it is
yeah,
like a
the
block.
odds must have been with me then because I
I
did
think
not
if
see any
you
of
just
those
started
bullet
though,
curves.
like how far did you get?
I'm
if
only
you
like
just-
level 5, so like I'm not that
Because
far
in the beginning of the game, almost all enemies are using melee.
Oh no, actually, I was dealing with like shots coming at me and stuff.
Okay. Because
so when
once you
you're-
get the droids out, they like to shoot you with electric bolts, and they go through and missiles, and they go straight through everything.
So tell me more about instances here because I want to know because like in WoW, your 5 guys go in, and the way instances are set up in that game is you have like very specific groups of enemies milling about, and you kind of sit there with your friends, and you go, okay, there's 2 kinds of this guy, 3 kinds of this guy. There's one over here.
That's how it is.
Okay, so there's these poles that
And
you have
they're
to do,
like
and you
the
just have to.
equivalent of boss-like characters, where like maybe a big giant walker will
Yeah.
come up out of the ground.
Yep.
And he's not the last boss, but on the way, and you'll know that that's coming, and you're going to want to have one guy take his shields down as fast as you can. Maybe with maybe he's got an EMP chain gun, which is pretty cool for a game like that. Just blasting it,
But they're not
Wars,
like just constantly dynamically spawning around.
No,
at
it's
you. Okay.
not. No, and there are certain types. Then you get inside. So for example, one of the instances, you go into this underground facility, and it's basically a robot factory. And inside there's also all these places, very Doom-like, where they're doing bioorganic experiments on human hosts and things.
Well,
And
that's
then
what all aliens do.
these just monstrous things come out, and the first time you see him, it's kind of like, oh crap, I don't know what to deal with that. And you can see that he's got a really high level on him. And then he starts, throwing up things like reflect on various weapons you're using, and you gotta like back off and say, all right, just everyone stop shooting at him because we're killing ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Cool.
got that.
That's very well instance.
Another
for any
cool
MMO.
thing about this game that's going to make it stand out is the cloning system. And
Right.
you guys can
That
tell
sounds
me
cool.
if there are equivalents to this in other existing
I don't think there
MMOs.
are. Yeah, this is very cool.
But at any point in the game, after you reach a certain level, you can say, I'm going to create a clone of myself. And then the clone will stay at the same level, but it won't have the attribute points spent. So you can basically like re-roll constantly throughout the game. So you can clone like 3 versions of yourself and say, hey, I want one where I take the route where I just completely maximize my melee, which is funny because then you can go up and rifle butt someone and send them flying across the screen. And then you can go to, then shoot them with your rifle because you've knocked them into good range for that. Your electricity, your shielding, you call in airstrikes and stuff like that later on. I mean, if you want to, you have drones that fight with you. So if you want to go and specialize in any one of those more than the other,
And the
then
important
you always can. You don't have to sit and see another guy, meet another player and say, what's it like playing that? I thought about doing that build, but I never did. I kind of regret it. I think I'm playing with you and I see yours is a little more kick-ass than mine.
And an important
That's
distinction
really
for this
smart.
game is that you're kind of classless at the beginning, and you at various points you kind of keep branching
Branch.
into different classes,
Right.
unlike WoW or whatever, where you just pick priest.
Right.
Because like WoW has the talent structure where you can respec at any time and become a different kind of priest.
Yeah.
So,
But you can't
this
go
sound-
all the way back and be something else,
Right, right.
Whereas this was a pretty clever.
So that's the trick, though, is cloning at those key points.
Yeah.
At those key
So if you miss it, you're
forks in the
screwed.
road.
That was a
sounds cool.
clever design decision, though. I mean, that eliminated one of those big hurdles, which is
The regrind.
not wanting to start over from the beginning with the same content you've
Yeah.
done, the level 1 content again. That was pretty smart.
I think that's awesome. I'm sure there's going to be someone out there that finds a reason to bitch about it because it's not the way that they've been eating their meal with the peas in the one
Well,
compartment
right,
and
of
carrots
course.
in the other.
Most
But,
people would kill for a system like that.
There's still people
they're
bitching that
MMOs.
things aren't the way they were in the original UO, and
Yeah.
No one here though.
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan, are you going to play Tabula Rasa? Do you think?
I am.
that appeal to you?
It sounds cool.
Well, the only thing that matters to Ryan is if there's PvP in it.
I
make a guild.
I was going to ask, but you guys
It's got
are.
PvP. I haven't played it yet, but it's got PvP.
Did it have baby
And it
PvP?
should be fun PvP.
What's baby PvP?
Where you, anything where you can't just walk up to somebody and attack them is baby
It's
PvP.
baby PvP
Okay.
then, yeah.
Good.
Plain there's
I like baby
another
PvP.
observation about
You kill
MMOs I
babies.
have. And that's when you're out with a group of friends and you're doing a mission with them, and then you realize that you didn't officially take that mission.
Yeah.
But you've completed all of the requirements.
Yep.
You fulfilled all the requirements to complete the mission, and you go, but you don't get credit. It's just like at the end of Star Wars when they're giving out the medals, and if all of a sudden they put the medal around Luke and then Han Solo, and then they get to Chewie, and they're like, "Sorry, dude, you didn't talk to the princess
accept the quest."
officially."
This probably happens.
Gotta go
to me
back
once
and
a week
rescue her again, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I go on some long thing, and then everybody's like getting the head off the guy, and I'm like, "How come?" I'm like, "Oh, I never had the quest." Yeah.
So
He'll be back.
yeah, that's got to go. MMO. That's another thing, where you're like, why does it take so long for various changes to occur in MMOs?
Well, was WoW the first one to do? Somebody will correct me if not. You guys and the listeners, the share quest option that WoW has.
I don't know.
WoW will let you share a quest with people in your party who don't
good.
have it yet.
So you don't all
there's
have to-
restrictions.
City of Heroes let you
There
do
are
that.
restrictions, right?
City of Heroes did that.
Like if you're not
City of Heroes
on the
did
right
that.
part of the
Okay.
chain or something, or there was like the quest giver gave you a basket to put the apples in, you're not going to be able to get it because you can't.
Yeah.
That's how it would be
basket.
anyway. One of you would go talk to the guy because, like, for example, there's one NPC in Tabula Rasa who wants you to. I'm just trying to figure out a way to talk around it without giving you the specifics of the quest because it could not be there. It's a beta. They might
sure.
erase it altogether.
Yeah.
It was actually a cool quest, but I'm just using a random example. And he's basically running an illicit practice, and he wants you to help him continue. And you can either choose to go and work against him, and ultimately this boils down to who you talk to. It's not like you have some well-developed relationship with this guy or anything. But it would be like it's so funny because it's kind of like a behind the Circle K meeting, the psst, psst, hey, come over here. But then everyone in your party's got to go have the same thing.
Well, right.
Then it's just kind of like stretches the.
Well, that's the suspension of disbelief that there always is. I mean, like, it's like the WoW quest where you do have to like get some guy's head, and there's a party of 5, and then you each have to go up one by one and get his head.
Yeah,
Right. And everyone
I
gets
mean,
the
he didn't
heads.
have 5 heads. It's just
How about we just
you see
divvy up
everyone
the head?
getting the
Can I have his
head.
nose? Thanks.
You get used to that.
yeah,
The 19th time you kill him,
right.
you're over it.
That's when I have those moments of like I feel sorry for these guys because because these guys being the NPCs, because they have a lifespan of about like 2 minutes. They're born, they get ganked, they get their heads taken, then the next group comes up.
Back again.
The sad
It's a sad
life. of an
life.
NPC.
Poor Hogger, dead over and over and over and over and over for all eternity.
Sisyphusian.
Do you guys know
Seriously, man.
who Gammon is?
No.
I might be saying his name wrong. It's
that
you guys
Tauren
don't
guy
play
in the-
Horde, do you?
I know he's in Ogrimmar, right? The guy in the
He's
inn.
this Tauren NPC that spawns in the Ogrimmar Inn, and he's like part of some rogue quest where you have to pickpocket him.
Uh-huh.
But he's yellow when he spawns, so anybody can kill him. So
Okay.
he'll just spawn in the end, somebody will immediately
His
kill
lifespan
him.
is
Over
a
and over.
second.
Yeah. It's a good way to get linen cloth.
Yeah, that's the other thing about MMOs, when the quest might be to get 5 tusks or whatever, and you just find a field and you see a bunch of guys just all standing around waiting for the shit to spawn in. And that's the kind of thing. It's funny because I hear about it, and then the guy I'm playing with, Rory, is like, oh yeah, and he says whatever the name is for that. I'm like, I heard about this shit. Why do I have to be living it? It's like the most ridiculous aspects of MMOs, just like that. Everyone standing and waiting for some dumb spawn.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
and he was sweating. This was cracking me up too. I guess there's some game where they determine the spawn-ins, the loot drops or whatever, based on like your name and some kind of like algorithm they got with like how it's alphabetized.
What?
And there's
What?
people freaking out like, I didn't get my drop. This has got to be that fucked up system where they're only giving it to people that are like G through Z or what.
That's ridiculous.
I know. I'm
I
just
don't
sitting there
believe
trying
that.
to make sense of that. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I don't want to play
Drop
this.
rates are, all these things you're bringing up, these are like constant, endless MMO.
Right. I mean, instances were the
hurdles.
solution to the major problems.
Yeah, they are. Instances fixed a lot.
And WoW does a lot of like dynamic spawning. Like the more people killing it, the more things will spawn. So for most places, it's not too terrible.
Remember
But,
camp checks?
yeah, not really.
We don't really do that anymore.
You don't really
What?
do that.
Camp checks, or that might be old EQ.
So like an
lingo.
EverQuest?
That's an EverQuest
People would
thing.
just, because there were no instances, so all the most important things that people needed, there were always like Disneyland lines for them. And it was a free-for-all because it wasn't your space.
Yeah. Yep.
So people would just camp. They would just sit there and wait. And then, there'd be disputes like, I was here first.
It'd be like
And then
playing
people
with
would
the
just come on and
pinata
go,
every
camp,
time the
check it,
boss
whatever.
spawned.
Say what?
It'd be like playing pinata, then the candy breaks open and everyone just runs for it, ripping each other's hair
Kinda.
out.
Yeah.
And that's when they back when they had like big server-wide like message boards for raids. So like, okay, we're gonna kill the dragon on Tuesday. This other guild's gonna kill the dragon on Wednesday, and then this other guild's gonna get in on Thursday unless they don't finish
That's
it.
some fucked up, repugnant shit.
I don't do that anymore. Instances,
And it was
thank
way
the
easy to
Lord for
grief all that
instances.
stuff, too.
Actually, that's some good
If you wanted to
stuff.
be a jerk.
Instances. Should we take
Just
a break?
go in there, throw
Yeah, okay, we'll take a break, and we'll be back
flashbang.
with more hatred.
This One Up podcast is brought to you by Games for Windows. Welcome to Better PC Gaming. Created with the idea that gaming should deliver more. Games for Windows branded titles bring you all the fun of gaming without all the work. And with the hottest titles around and Windows Vista compatibility, Games for Windows promises to deliver great new gaming experiences every time you play.
Well, we're back, and we're going to talk about trailers in a segment we like to call Trailer Trash. How's that?
I didn't think you were actually going to use
Is that good?
That's trademarked.
So, what? There were at least a couple trailers that came out last week. One of them being
Comic-Con.
the TV game stuff, Lost and Heroes. What do we think of Lost?
I think Lost looks like a bad PS2 game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could have been anything.
Yeah,
I don't know what it
it's so, there's so like nothing coming out of that right now. I can't get a vibe. But I mean,
Are you supposed to be Jack? Or like
No,
they
you're
never
supposed
showed
to
his
be
like
face?
somebody
some
else.
unknown character. I
Okay.
think.
They never showed his
Nicky
face,
or
but
Pablo.
he had a Jack haircut. And I think they were trying to convince you that you were Jack. But they
You're
never showed his face.
Jack-like.
Jack-like. I
Ryan,
don't know
you
what's
heard
up
the
with
music
that.
though
Well, I
and
mean,
kind of got excited. There was some moment when you were watching that trailer, and despite being a jaded gamer, you were like, "All right, all right." Same way that people
I could
reacted
be
when they
into
saw
this.
the Iron Man movie trailer.
Not really.
I could try to crack the meta code in this game and see how it ties into the show.
You didn't have any moment of...
Not. I mean, there's Locke on the screen, but he looks like some
The Sawyer made me
ugly
laugh.
Some glass eyes.
Yeah.
PS2 character.
Yeah.
This looks like... I mean, we didn't know if this was actually going to be a real game or like shovelware. For
I thought it was going to be like
think
those
it's
crappy like
sadly
ER
online.
games.
Yeah, my first fear is going to be like one of those like CSI,
Yeah.
Three
Exactly.
Dimensions of Murder games or
And
something.
doesn't it seem it's going more that way?
Yeah. Well, it looks like the gameplay is following arrows on trees. That's,
Yeah.
But from
We
the
really
trailer.
just can't tell
can't
from what's
tell.
there.
You can't
but you
tell.
know it's going to be made for Walmart, for an
Right.
audience
Yeah.
that you pick up. You say, "Hey, Lost, I watched that show."
What could they
Hey,
even do
it's
in
a
this
computer
game? That would
I got a
be,
computer.
you know,
And
they're not
take it
going
home and-
to. They can't answer it.
Of course not.
So
Yeah,
what's it
that's
going to be?
Right, you can't go. I mean, it's going to have to be like you're saying.
Slide
They're gonna,
puzzles.
here's this mysterious passenger, and they'll write some cockamamie story about how, none of why the television series that we've all been watching didn't acknowledge the existence.
It'll be
of
Nikki
this
and
person.
Paolo all over again.
Right.
Right, except
Right,
it wouldn't
what
be
is it?
acknowledged by the TV show.
Right.
Right. The only possible solution is that we get killed at the end. That's why we're not part
Buried
of the big
alive,
plot.
I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
What if it's not? Like I heard that the J.J. Abrams and all the people behind the show, that you're actually one of the others, and everything that you see, that you play and experience in the game, they're basically writing into the next season.
Shut up, Sean.
And
I was going to let him keep going, dude.
you play as Jacob.
There you go.
Orchestrate, yeah, it's like
Oh, you're gonna be
Sims.
such a, like,
Orchestrate
ghost
So you
the
just
entire
sit in
whole
that
island.
chair for
Spoilers
20 hours?
spoilers for Lost Season 3
You get to
for
play as
anybody
the
who hasn't
dog.
seen
Oh, yeah,
it.
we should have.
Yeah, just by
Forgot
saying
about that.
Jacob. Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Hey, that'd be cool if you got to play as the dog.
Jacob's
I'd be
like
down with
the
that.
Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland. Jacob is the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland. Spoilers.
You look in the
Spoilers.
mirror.
So yeah,
God,
he
it's
shows up in your cart.
He shows up in your cabin.
So did you see that Michael's coming back to the cast?
Yeah, it's cool.
I saw an angry post on Quarter to Three. Some guy saying like that it was bullshit that he was coming back.
What? You know he never
Michael.
got off the
Oh, the
island.
dude
Why
that
is it
yells Walt?
bullshit? They didn't finish his story.
Yeah, I would like them to
they
finish
just
the
put him on a
story.
tugboat and said, "Okay, take off."
Right.
There's no strings attached.
Yeah, it's not bad he's coming back. The only bad thing is if he's still running around screaming Walt.
Yeah, that'd be the bad.
Well,
thing.
given what happened at the end of season 3, obviously,
Right.
he doesn't.
You know what? I'm going to
Spoilers,
say
spoilers,
right now,
spoilers.
I think Michael's the guy in the coffin.
Spoilers,
Nah, I
spoilers,
still think
spoilers.
it's what's his face.
Locke.
No,
Ben?
the leader Ben. There you go. Thank you.
I think it's
the
the,
leader.
dog.
Right, you heard
All
it here
right.
now first.
So that game looked good.
What did? What did?
That game.
That game looked good.
Oh yeah, it looked good.
There was actually not coming to PC. There's the Iron Man game trailer and Iron Man movie trailer.
You like how it had that same animation for turning the missile around all the
Shit,
time?
I didn't. There's a game too. Of course, there's a
Of
game.
course, it's a game.
The movie trailer was kind of funny because again, I'm like, I haven't even watched, for being somewhat into superheroes. I haven't seen Superman movie or Hulk or
I didn't see either of
You
those.
didn't miss much there.
I haven't seen a lot, but I kind of was like, it looks like Downey Jr. could pull it. Like he could be the secret ingredient that
Good
makes
actor.
it work. If it works, like it'll be on him.
I heard
And
I
you
can
know,
see him doing
I
it.
forgot who was telling me this, but someone who was down at Comic-Con was saying that they actually watched like an extended trailer from the movie, and it looked pretty sick. So
They're kind of running out of superheroes.
Dude, but there's probably, if you talk to
Ghost Rider?
someone that was at Comic-Con,
Ant-Man.
like they're by
No
default, they're
way.
going to tell
Well,
They
you.
no, it
got
was
plenty
like
of movies,
someone from the game
superheroes
industry
they
was
can
there
make
for work
movies
stuff, and
for.
Someone
Like
from the
who?
game industry at
we got
Comic-Con by default is going to say that Iron
We're having
Man.
3 separate conversations
Wow,
on
this
this
is a new.
podcast.
This is like a Robert Altman movie. All of a sudden, it's Nashville, the podcast.
This is bad because we can't hear ourselves.
I know.
Yeah, this is like
we
the worst.
apologize for that talking over.
So,
I think
what
it's
were you
probably
guys
happened.
talking about?
Over on this corner of the podcast, we were talking about. I said that they're starting to run out of superheroes to make movies of,
No, there's plenty.
and then Ryan countered that with,
There's
"No,
Cap-
no,
there's-
there aren't.
There's
There's a
Captain
lot."
America.
Oh wait, I'm waiting for Ryan's dropping on the
Before
Blue
they
Beetle.
even before they even got to Iron Man, they made a goddamn Elektra movie and they made
Yeah.
a Catwoman movie. So
But see,
like,
we're
of course,
already
there's
on,
a
like, the
Thor
C-level
movie come
guys.
in, and
They made a terrible Captain America movie. Too.
They
Oh,
made
about that.
a few
Did you see the
terrible
Nick Fury
Captain
one
America
with David
movies.
Hasselhoff.
No.
Oh,
what?
straight to
Oh,
cable.
man.
It was awesome.
The what?
The David Hasselhoff Nick Fury. Dude, it's
The
out
Pun-
there.
Dolph
David
Lundgren Punisher.
Hasselhoff is Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's-
There are
it's
8
out there in the
trillion
wild.
superheroes. There are no problems.
Then there's the
Finding
Dolph
more.
Lundgren Punisher.
But yeah, they're all
Oh, God.
C
You see that
to
one?
Z
I
level.
remember
So you
that
said-
one.
All the big
Oh,
guys
sorry,
are
man, I
done.
Again, we're having 5 conversations.
Again, it's happening. This is a problem.
This is toast.
Dude.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Why do we always have the equipment failures? Why is it always us?
'Cause I suck.
I don't know. We should just.
No, you don't suck.
This
Sean.
is our
It's not
last.
your
This is the
fault.
last GFW radio.
This is it. This is it. We're out
Pull the
after
plug.
this one. Yeah, we've
all
been
falling
canceled.
let's just go continue this discussion on our own time. This is a good one.
Well, how about Heroes? Do we have anything to say about Heroes, the game?
I still haven't watched that show.
Oh man,
Don't watch this.
Dude, come on.
I think Heroes has a better chance of being a game than Lost. I will say that much.
Yeah.
Because there are a bunch of different characters, all with different abilities. That each individual person, you could play as them, and that would be cool. I don't think they'd have to make up a hero for you to be.
My only fear is that they'd focus on do the route with like X2 Wolverine's Revenge and focus on one guy, and you're stuck playing some crap ass plot with.
Yeah, I don't know. Have they said anything at all about it? Just
the
that there
fact
is
they're
going to
doing
be one. Did you see that the guy who plays Sylar got cast as Mr. Spock in the Star
I
Trek
did see
movie?
that.
Star Trek is the worst thing ever, but that's pretty cool.
Has anyone played the Battlestar game? Was that at E3?
That scares me.
Yeah.
The Battlestar game at E3, but that was not really a Battlestar game.
Lots
It
of
was a
heroes are
2D
okay,
shooter.
but Battlestar scares you.
I don't want Battlestar Galactica
Okay, well-
sullied by a game. Keep your games away from Battlestar Galactica.
Too highfalutin for that.
Right.
Yeah, actually,
play it, Sean?
This is television literature we're talking
Exactly.
about.
that's lowbrow art.
It'd be like a Deadwood game or a The Wire game. Don't mess with that.
The Deadwood game would be fun.
Dude, it'd just be like cursing in the Old West. That'd be awesome.
What, Sean?
I'm just this whole time I'm realizing we've been talking over one another.
No, it was just that one part. It was just, I can hear
just a second ago we were just doing it.
I think we taught each other.
everyone. No more than usual,
I
though.
hate it.
He's done. He ain't saying a word.
No, but yeah. So someone brought up the Battlestar game.
Yeah.
I saw it at E3. Anyone else?
No. Is it just like ship combat? Is it just...
It's ship combat. It's like a top-down shooter kind of game. You're not in the cockpit or anything.
Okay. I
It's
don't get to like have dialogue trees with Odama.
No,
No. Fuck it.
Is it an Xbox Live game?
it's an Xbox Live Arcade game. No talk about bringing it to the PC. Well, and actually, I think they are thinking about bringing it to the PC, but
Oh.
Doesn't sound like
but
it's
basically,
worth
it's a
So
lot
we're talking like 1942 or
kind of. It's just kind of like actually, it's like Wing Commander Arena actually.
it. Oh, so Armada, basically.
Yeah, basically, it's just kind of like top-down shooting. You have like teams. You can have a single-player campaign against bots. Whoop-de-doo.
Are the characters in it? The main characters?
I don't think so.
No.
they make
Okay.
they quit from inside their cockpits.
If I can't gank Gaius Baltar, I'm out.
Any game that starts off with like a movie or TV license already is dropped down a peg before I even know anything about it.
Oh, hey,
It's
check.
just in my head.
You think?
You
Yeah,
know what
usually.
game got announced at Comic-Con that will be cool?
What?
Lego Indiana Jones.
Oh, see, now that looked good. I
Okay,
agree
yeah,
with
that's
you.
right.
Is that coming to the PC?
Sean's like, oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I mean, the other ones
Sean
did.
looks
So.
like
That
Just
shit.
sharded
That to me is like
over
the
there.
people that like send me like Rick Roll videos. You get it? It's Lego. It's Indiana Jones. It's great. It's Star Wars and it's Lego.
Hey, Star Wars, Lego Star Wars.
No, it looks like a
good.
dumb fucking platformer.
Lego Star
I
Wars
don't
games
know.
were fun.
I haven't even played it. I've watched people play it. And it looks cool.
Lego makes anything bad cool.
Because you can turn what you don't understand is it's not just a kiddie veneer. You can manipulate the world because it's constructed of Legos.
Actually, I'm kind of curious because isn't there like a Lego MMO coming up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I know like NetDevil's working on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
They are.
Have
the
you
makers
guys
of
heard
Habbo
anything about
Hotel.
that? I'm like, exactly. I'm
The
totally
sky is the
A
limit.
Lego MMO is going to be like Habbo Hotel stuff.
No, this is the guys who made Auto Assault. See, if they had done Auto Assault out of Lego, it'd probably still be running today.
It definitely would still be running.
Of that Lego.
By the
money.
way, we haven't brought that up since, but it's still online. We talked once on this podcast about how we were all
Death
going to
Hour.
make accounts and be revving our engines as the lights go down on.
I don't think they're
August
letting us make new
31st.
accounts.
Oh,
At
really?
this point, I did inquire about this. 'Cause I told
Damn it.
I
I
told
still
their
got
PR
it.
people how I want to do this, like ride off into the sunset kind of thing.
They're not trying to get PR for the fact that it's pulling the plug
dying.
on an abysmal failure of an MMO.
That's a
I
shame.
still have an account. I can get in there.
Do you?
Yeah.
Get in there and take some screenshots.
Mingos
for us.
Marauders, man. We ride.
How we roll.
My name in Tabula Rasa for the world, if anyone else is in the beta and wants to say hi, I'm Cellulitia or Cellulitia Obesia.
I was about to say, I wonder if it was Obesia's
Cellulita
sister, but
Obesia. That's who it is. Yeah.
part of the family.
And The tremendo is Rory.
You get a whole theme.
Well, that's because it comes from the
Fantastic
Big
Fatty
Fun
Squad.
series when we'd play in Company of Heroes, which, oh, by the way, once that went on Steam, just massively reinvigorated the online community.
Is that right?
For it. Yeah, you look in it, and it was to a point where you'd go on to play, and there were only like, I don't know, I'm sure I'm getting it wrong, but, maybe like 1,000, and now it's like way more.
Cool.
Orders of magnitude 10 times as many people.
I was kind of wondering about this. Do you know if you? Like, I've been thinking about. I'm gonna have to check this after work. But is it possible if you, like, let's say I have Company Heroes, for example. I don't want to carry the disc around anymore.
If you bought the retail, you're asking if you can use it on Steam.
If I use my serial code on Steam and then
I haven't tried. I'm guessing not. But that would sure be nice, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, shit. Yeah, I want to ditch my disc.
Oh, and props to Valve. Check this out. This is. At first everyone was like, I don't know what to think about this, and this being that Valve decided that you can't just buy the stripped down black box or whatever it is of Episode 2, that you have to get this whole orange box that comes with Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, Episode 2, and all this other stuff, and you're like, but the thing is it's not costing you anymore, really. It's still a value. Even if it didn't have those, it would still be a value for Team Fortress 2, which they could so easily charge full retail for.
Yeah.
With the history, the legacy of that game, and then Portal, and then Episode. But the thing is that now if you buy it and you've already got them, you get codes for them, and you can give them to anyone you want. So you can, remotely. So it's like, say I buy this box and I'm like, I don't need Half-Life 2. I don't need Episode 1. I can just tell my friend in Illinois or whatever, hey, check this out. And he gets an email and then boom, he's got those 2 games. I just thought that was pretty cool.
You can still get
but how many developers do
played
that?
Half-Life 2 at this point.
There's people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
I was just talking to someone who was just playing it. Robert Ashley, who freelances for us, was just playing it for the first time this past month. So
Yeah,
it takes a lot of people a while to upgrade their computers.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
You can still download the pieces via Steam, right? If you don't want those, if you don't want to go retail,
Right.
Yeah, you can get that stuff. Yeah.
so go Steam. I think that's probably just another way to promote.
Well, actually,
the Steam service.
It's another way to promote their game. I mean, it's someone else playing it, but it's still cool though that you don't, you're not stuck with just something you can't, or
Can't
like I
use.
have another version of these and I can install it on whatever computer I own or whatever. It's like that was pretty cool.
But still, the black box version would have been nice, though, don't you think?
I think if they had never announced the other version that they canceled, no
that
one
was
would have
a
even
mistake,
balked on it. Like, no one would even say, like, oh, I'm getting these games I can't use.
Right, because it has a little bit of the whiff of, actually, we want you to buy the more expensive one and never mind the cheap one.
It's because an option was taken away
It's
that
not
people are
just a
reacting.
whiff
But it's still,
of that.
like you said
That is
before,
what it is.
yeah, like you said, it's still a crazy bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see Robert play this for the first time because it just totally reminded me of, when you have some favorite thing, like, Preacher comic I'm really fond of, and it seems like every year I hook someone else on it, although it might have been like years and years since I've read it, but it's always kind of like cool to vicariously relive, like when you first read it, as they keep coming back to you like, holy shit, what about this part? What
That's
about
how
this?
I am with According to Jim. Every time I watch someone watch the comedic stylings of Jim Belushi for the first time, I get really happy for them.
Nice.
As you watch their soul get sucked out into the TV.
That made me sad, Jeff.
I'm sorry.
I didn't get it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's just.
I don't think you
never
have to understand that.
Yeah.
It's not video games. I don't know anything about it. That's funny.
According to Jim, might be great.
Oh, hey, not to just.
According to Jim, that's that shitcom.
Yeah.
Late to the station.
a Freudian
I've heard
slip?
about that. I haven't watched it. But.
Yeah.
Just one thing I wanted to throw out before I forget. Just bringing up, speaking of Valve, for anyone who's in the Dallas area going to QuakeCon this week, they're going to be letting people play Left 4 Dead.
Oh, cool.
So they're going to be on display there. I think
But
they're
you
also going
can't
to have the
just
orange box
be
going
in
on.
the Dallas area, right? You have to have
Well, I mean, like
a pass to the
you pay for a
convention.
pass to get in. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth checking out for that.
How much they charge for those passes?
I don't know how much they charge for that thing these days, but there's a lot of developers showing up for these things now.
QuakeCon's a big deal.
I wanted to go to Comic-Con this year. Reminded me of, because I went to high school in San Diego. We used to always go down there and buy people's passes for $1 as they were leaving. And then go in, and then whatever, we'd have the misfortune of going to a booth, and the guy says, "Oh yeah, you're from San Luis Obispo. My son goes to high school out there. What school are you going to?" Had to make up some bullshit story.
Just moved there.
B, My dad told me not to talk to strangers, especially at the Comic-Con. But that was...
Especially when dressed as Boba Fett.
The Comic-Con was like legit legitly like fucked back before the whole world got screwed up. Like I remember going upstairs there, and they had like rooms just where they play anime. And I remember opening the door, one of those motherfuckers.
Oh no!
It closing that door.
Oh boy! Wasn't like the hentai room.
It just
was
cracked me up because I was like, so this is like 90 to 93. That shit was bad. Now it's like they've taken over the world.
It's big time.
There's a cartoon I just heard about coming out now. It's already out. It's called Stormhawks. And why am I talking about this?
I don't know.
Why.
I've actually seen the commercials for this.
Tell me about Stormhawks.
Well, when we always in our Here of the Web, we always, well, not always, but it's common that we have furries and people that fetishize game characters and animals and all this kind of stuff. And at some point, I was wondering, like, okay, what if there's this, I'll entertain this conspiracy theory and say that the people that make the Sonic games and stuff, not the first one, but the sequels and the sequels of the sequels, say, hey, we understand that a big portion of our audience is into this kind of stuff. Like, let's cater to them a little bit.
Into it, you mean like into it?
Into it, yeah, like wanting to
Like
get
has a
into their
sexual
characters.
problem with Sonic.
Wanting to really get into their characters.
It's not a problem,
And
Jeff.
so anyway, like along with that, I kind of like entertained that, put it aside. But now there's this show called Stormhawks, and if you look at it, I swear to God, it's straight up. They're like, someone said, "Hey, that's a lucrative market. There's people that like that shit, and we're gonna like give it to them." So they have like a whole part of the huge cast are straight up furries. It's not, and when I say furry, I don't mean like.
Not live action guys.
Bugs Bunny and shit, where it's like that's a
sexy
bunny. That's like a
anthropomorphic
bunny
cats.
with like dynamite coming out his ass. But they're like people. They're very like highly anthropomorphized animals. But yeah, that show's loaded with them. So what we did is we're like, okay, are we just being like freaks? Am I becoming like the Jack Thompson of the furry generation? So what we did
That's a hell of a banner to hold there.
is I googled furry plus Stormhawks, and what do you know? Almost everything that comes up, it's like furry forums and stuff and their favorite things. There's like a little box on the side. What are your favorite things in this world? Stormhawks is
Wow.
a very, very common favorite.
So basically, if your kids are watching Stormhawks,
There's the smoking gun.
There's your warning sign.
That's the
You are the
smoking
Jack
gun.
Thompson of
You are
the
attuned
furry
to this.
industry.
I just wondered because there's
glad.
like at some
These
point,
TV shows are turning our kids into furries.
and Final Fantasy caters to, what was it, 12? That had the bunny
Oh, the bunny
chicks
girl,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, Final Fantasy
Fran.
X2, that one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that lasted about 5 minutes on my TV screen. I got a copy of that.
No, that's different. 10-2 or
10-2?
X2 is the one
No,
with
12
the,
is
the
the
trio of.
10-2 was the one with all the all the upskirts.
I'm talking about the most recent one
They
that
were
came out on
singing? I don't know.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
I'm thinking of a different one. Yeah, X2 was the one that I
12's
lasted
good.
about 5 minutes, and I had to take that thing out of my machine. It was
Yo.
making me feel icky.
Yeah.
12 was
That's how it
Slightly
goes.
aroused.
But yeah, Fran, she's very much bunny love.
We got that video in what will now be last week's GFW Radio thread on OneUp.com about the man who has over 170 grand worth of love dolls in his house and decided he doesn't need a real woman because they can hurt his feelings. And
Yeah.
I can't trust them.
so I'm just saying, if you want to watch that video, you should go check it out.
It's just saying.
The best part,
know.
the best part I noticed was at the end of that video is like it shows all these like supposedly live looking, real looking dolls, and then they have like this like the hyper anime dolls at the very end.
They got him.
This has become the human bottom feeder podcast. This
It
this
is.
all
We said
do
it was
here.
hate. It certainly is filth.
Are we done? I think we're done. We have
yeah,
to
I
go
gotta
back
go
and make a magazine.
some sort of magazine.
I did
here.
want to do one little plug.
Okay.
That Sean Malloy and I are going to be at BlizzCon this week, recording live, we hope, from the floor for the Legendary Thread podcast. And there's going to be people are going to be able to play StarCraft 2 on the floor there, so we'll have some stuff about that. And Blizzard's announcement. They got an announcement coming on down there, so we're going to be excited to share that
Yeah.
with all of you. Yeah.
Oh, and I'll be and also this week I'll be at QuakeCon drinking.
Awesome.
And also,
QuakeCon podcast.
So we're spending our very tightly held expense money so you can go drink and. Could you try to attend the event too, please?
I might attend the event. No,
Okay.
Actually, we are. Carmack is allegedly going to be talking about breaking some big news at the show.
Awesome.
So we'll be there for it.
Well, they told us pretty much at E3 they're revealing his new game at the show.
Supposed to be on the.
Ixnay on the
My bad.
in-gate.
I already said that before. I already said it on One Up Yours, so.
Okay, well, never mind.
Say it
Secret's
again.
out. Fuck
Yeah, look forward to the new Carmack game.
Look forward to it later this week.
New thing at QuakeCon.
All right, so we'll be back sometime. Next week's podcast is a little bit in question, but we'll try to get it together for you guys. We're going to have some scheduling difficulties, but we'll try to be here.
I'm there with Sean that this was our last one. We're done.
Oh, no, never mind. This is our last
All right,
one.
this
We're
is it.
done.
We're out.
Okay. Well,
It's my
goodbye
last one.
forever. It's been nice.
All right, and we out.
Are you ready? No. I said, are you ready?
1,
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Go out and get gone. Close the tent flap. Your mom and me need to take a nap.
You're not my dad, dude. What's your hang-up? And whatever you do, don't touch my manga.
I made the homepage on my laptop, lolcats. Have a look. The signal's strongest outside and all that.
I created almost all of those. Now they're a chore. And if I use your laptop, it'll be the way to YouTube war. Wait, no webcam? I believe I'll pass, Richard. You want to spread clam? I'm fond of bedlam.
For thousands in attendance. For millions watching online.
Metal Gears of War, Solid Golden Axes, Allied Assault, 6 Axis Game, Crazy Taxi, 12 Words You Heard, Ralphie reporting, Earl protect the girl, Richard selfish and horny.
Zipping takes an instant. Unzipping seems to take forever. Don't blow up any trucks, Earl. I saw the demonstration on Fox.
Don't listen to those fearful pricks. All we ever did was change the hood ornament to hero clicks.
Earl, I hid Wii Fit in the cellar. Tune in and turn yourself into a Hokage cave dweller.
The Japanese are making mechs, Richard. Quit. Asimo will carry me. At least that's how I pictured it.
Let's get ready to suck it. Dwight's dad got a Honda. Thinks it's better than our Ford. Get down the block and settle the accord.
I haven't seen the NPD numbers. I really have no idea. Although anything from Japan's superior, second only to Korea.
Okay, kid. I tried to play reasonable. Having you in the house right now plainly isn't feasible.
How totally neurotypical. You know the tune they play for users on The Price is Right? If you patrolled YTM&D, maybe you just might. We're there, Richard. Search Mom of the Year. One easy click and the song's in your ear.
This One-Up podcast is brought to you by Games for Windows. Welcome to Better PC Gaming. Created with the idea that gaming should deliver more. Games for Windows branded titles bring you all the fun of gaming without all the work. And with the hottest titles around and Windows Vista compatibility, Games for Windows promises to deliver great new gaming experiences every time you play.